everyone, Connor here from the Daubers, and welcome to week 5, round 2 of Shim-Line Saturdays. Let's see who's fighting this week. So we have High Speed Dodge versus Godzilla's Destructive Slam. So let's have a look at the first one, being High Speed Dodge, the top 8 variant. So this one has the horizontal shim. As you can see, it cuts just behind his knee. I think... So I was looking at this a little bit closely as well before we went live. I think this is just slightly above the centre when it goes horizontal. I think if it was where the boot lining is, I think that's closer to the true centre of the card. So I think this is off by a solid millimetre. Is it enough to completely ruin the scenario right now in docket points? I think it might be, to be honest, because this is the first time in a while we're going to see a horizontal in the competition. So a lot of times we don't even see that many horizontal shims in general. So I think it's a tough one for it to compete with. Yeah, I'm going to dock it points for sure. I think it's going to get dock points. On top of that, is there any hidden spot to the shim, or is this just one of those shims that you just naturally always see? I think this suffers from the idea that it's 90% silver and foil. So, like, I really don't think there's a side of this that you could hit the light on. Yeah, I mean, like, unless you flipped it face down, I don't think there's a source of light that's not going to hit this to show that shim off. It does also look as if there's a bit of a roller line going as well on the shim initially, because I was looking at this thinking, if you noticed how that shim actually looks as if it's almost too imprinted in the card. Again, I don't know if it is actually. I've never actually seen the art to know if it's specifically supposed to be there or if it's not. But because of the way the roller line goes as such, I feel as if it's not. So I'm going to dock it points naturally, just a little bit for it being not perfectly centered, even though it is quite close. And then on an art scale, I don't really know if it really interrupts the art. There's kind of a lot going on with the art as such. You've got a lot of different faces in it. So I think the fact that it cuts through just under the nose of that Titan is a little bit rough. A little bit rough, especially if you're Team Titan, you know. Not the other show that's Teen Titan, but this one specifically, if you're part of Team Titan, I think it's maybe a wee bit rough because it just cuts through one guy and then it avoids the rest. Yeah, I don't know about that. I think that's got to lose some points just out of the fact that it's only hitting one guy and a kneecap of a Levi. That's a tough one. I'm going to dock this points and I'm going to hit this with a solid 3 out of 5 shim lines. I think that's where it's got to get for sure. Now, let's find out where its competition is at this week. With probably my favourite character, as you all know, along with one of my favourite IPs, which is Godzilla. So again, this one's going to get hit with some proper bias, but can I just say that Godzilla does the shims right, and it is probably perfectly centered. Like, look at that shim right down the middle. That is getting the glorious 5-star treatment for sure. Is it cutting through the art? Kinda a little bit at the top, but it's mostly noticeable via the actual text box. And as most of us know, we don't read our cards, so that doesn't really matter. Am I finding ways to not dock this card points? Yes, I am. Is this competition completely sacred and fair and balanced? I don't know why you're watching if you thought it was. I think this is getting the perfect 5. Like, this could also have no shim and I think it would get a 5. But I think, honestly, down the centre, perfect. Does it interrupt the art? Really not too well, and there is some moments like that, for instance, where when you just don't catch the light, it does actually just appear as a normal card as well. I don't know if there's... I think at this side it's a bit harder to hide, but again, you can get a definite angle on this side where it hides it. So again, that's the perfect kind of shim, the one that doesn't look there. So I think these two have a tough time on their hands. So let's see what we have again in High Speed Dodge versus Destructive Slam. Again, in the comments on the Facebook post, the Daubers Discord, the YouTube video, the short video, get your vote in. Who's going through to the next round? Is it High Speed Dodge from Attack on Titan? Or is it possibly the greatest IP to ever exist in Godzilla? Again, I'll not judge you if you vote one way or the other, depending on what you vote for. And I'll see you all next week. catch you later on.